Welcome back. This is still the BDTV Breakfast Show. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and we are on for the newspaper review this morning. And I've got in the studio with me Mohammed Akonji, our in-house analyst. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Elizabeth. How are you?
Good morning to you. How
How
are
was
you?
it? Oh, I'm very good. I slept well. I had a good night. Thank you.
I had a good night too.
Of course, I had some other things happen over the night anyway. You know, personal things. But maybe the highlight of it was maybe Trump. I mean, it has actually been a common recurrence these days. But the way European Union retaliated, we're not seeing retaliations. We've seen China, who said whatever US is going to bring, they are ready for it. Be it physical, in terms of maybe let it be trade war, let it be physical war. I think we saw that last week. But this morning was European Union. There's a flat 25% tariff on all goods, especially metals and steel and aluminium generally for now, that are coming from Europe to US. 25% flat rate that Trump has actually imposed on them. It took effect yesterday. And the European Union too, it took effect yesterday morning. And then we woke up this morning to say that, okay, billions of dollars of American goods that are also coming back to Europe is to take effect from today. The exact amount they are going to impose, we don't know yet. We know Trump has imposed 25% in their own regard, but what they will do, but the escalation of the trade war and the domino effect of that is what we are seeing in the oil market. Remember, the president signed the budget last 2 weeks. The Natasha Akpoti's case, the Senator Natasha Akpoti case, didn't allow people to be able to put a lot of attention into that. Yes. So the budget has been signed, the 54.9 trillion budget. But remember that the budget assumption, the revenue assumption there, is that we're supposed to sell oil at $75 per barrel. Remember, that is the target, and that's the agreement, $75. But now, in the last 1 week, the oil price, especially the Brent crude, which one we are selling, has been struggling to be able to get off the ground, even above $70, because of these tariffs and trade wars that are happening. Tariff is causing a problem. Trump's excessive production of oil is also causing the problem, and that is likely going to have an effect. I'm just talking about on horses at this point in time, and some of the important goods as well, where this tariff has actually been imposed. So the way the president is going, and then maybe the highlight of it before I just move to end there, was what Mark Carney, who is the Prime Minister-elect in Canada, mentioned yesterday. I would like you to be able to watch the video, and you see the very powerful poser he made. You know, he was formerly the governor of the Bank of England. He's an economist, and he was the director, most like they said, the governor of the Bank of England before he went back to Canada to take up the position of the Prime Minister from Justin Trudeau, who stood down last week. And the waste he wanted to be able to, he's actually projecting himself as totally anti-Trump, whatever case may be. And I would like you to listen to it.
I'll certainly take a look at the video, but let's see what we have on our front page this morning. Starting off with the BusinessDay newspaper. The BusinessDay newspaper says Telcos raise investment to match data demand, and it's all speaking on the whole struggle for more data, reduce prices and all of that. And then the other big story on the side says more discos risk takeover over liquidity crisis. And then on page A2 down below, it says Oando wins Trinidad and Tobago refinery bid. Again, on page 30, it says how Nigeria can achieve 7% GDP growth with higher oil output. But let's start off with the biggest one, talking about telcos raising investments to market demand.
I mean, it's that's actually a study did by our telecom desk, and the MTN Communication and airtel, MTN Communication PLC and Airtel Nigeria, Africa, indicate that they've been able to ramp up core capital expenditure. Capital expenditure to be able to build masts and basic infrastructure needed to meet the high appetite, the increasing demand, of Nigerians. I'm sure we'll be able to discuss about this. The high data usage have actually been attributed to this increase in streaming platforms, the increased work model now, the new work model, the flexible work model, where workers actually be able to work from home, and all these have actually been able to, all these have accumulated, all these have actually contributed to people demanding for more data. In fact, as of 2023, the total data that MTN, for example, mentioned, NCC said that the total monthly internet usage increased by about 93% month on month between 2023 and 2024. In 2024, the total January 2023, for example, was about 517,000 terabytes that were actually used. But if you compare that to January,
by how many people?
I'm really able to release the actual numbers. But in terms of the internet usage, so we're talking about 517,670 terabytes, which have now been increased to about 1 million terabytes, within the space of just 1 year. That was 2023, but by 2025, that has actually been able to increase to close to about 1 million terabyte. That's like an exabyte. You can be able to imagine the rate at which that will be. So that surge, of course, the digital adoption, streaming and social media platforms, the way it has, and I'm sure you've seen that now, social media, you go to YouTube, you go to TikTok, you see a lot of people, Nigerians, jumping at unimaginable rates. And all these requires use of data. So it is definitely unexpected. In fact, some industry watchers and expectations believe that maybe that has not fully captured the true state of reality, what they said there, that it should have been able to be more than what is there. And if you'll be able to look at that report, MTN, Mr. Kaltoriola, in fact, gave a breakdown of what they recorded on a month-on-month basis in terms of internet usage. So they too have needed to be able to put a lot of investment, you understand, into fiber optics, into the broadband, to ensure that as more people are actually coming in, the traffic is not so huge, you understand, that the services can eventually shut down. So
I mean, moving to 1 million terabytes,
1 million terabyte
from
of cost,
517 in 2023, that's a lot. That's like
double the number. That's doubling the number. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe some analysts felt like maybe it's even supposed to be beyond that, that is need to check the methodology. But even that alone, within a space of a year, 2 years or thereabout, it's huge. You understand? We're talking about how to use 1 megabyte. So we're able to now double that rate of 500,000 terabytes to about 1 million terabytes within a space of that 2 years. So the appetite is there. We see Nigerians, that surge, the appetite for data usage, as well for social media platforms, streamings, and things like that. So it's in fact, one of the things, yesterday I was trying to be able to mine the data about DSTV multi-choice, for example, to even see, because now we've seen that there's a switch. We're trying to be able to see that lifestyle switch. Are people still consuming those content, for example, multi-choice content? They are boastful about it, because I was with them over the weekend, and their chief communication officer was saying, yes, they still have the numbers, but she fell short, telling us, okay, how many subscribers do you have now? Because most of the people that I spoke to, I'm just talking about informally, so they will tell you, no, I just buy data and then I'm watching YouTube on my, you understand now? A lot of people, I'm talking about the 10 people that I interacted with, you see that most of them will tell you, I don't even know the last time I subscribed on my, I still subscribe, I subscribe monthly. But I know a lot of them that I spoke to, just neighbors, and say, okay, when last did you subscribe on your DSTV or your GoTV? And they will tell you, I can't even remember the last time. And how are you doing? Oh, yes, we watch TV. What do we do there? We can definitely be able to make use of maybe this joystick that we can plug, what's it called? Most of these smart TVs that we can just need to buy internet in a month, and then that is better for them.
And even without
so, but
smart
she was quite.
People can connect.
People can connect, exactly. So she was quite. I'm talking about the multi-choice chief communication officer. Okay. She was quite upbeat about the fact that no, we still have the numbers. You understand? Really? I'm just talking about that. So we're trying to be able to mine the data to say, okay, let's even look at the subscriber base of truly whether they have that, and then let's compare them in the last few years. So at the streaming platforms, yes, they too have their streaming platforms, but maybe they are using that. You know about Showmax that they have as well. So maybe they're using that to be able to, cushion the effect. Thank you very much. Maybe cushion the effect or something. But you can see the upbeat in her and that confidence that yes, the numbers are still there, because it's a reaction to the recent IK game that they did 1st of March. they just increase again.
They keep increasing the prices though
because of operational expenses. So I think that surge is there. But so I'm talking about streaming platforms and social media have taken over, and then that I've actually explained why many Nigerians are now demanding
more data
to access those things.
YouTube now is a game changer.
It's a game changer for everything.
Movies now.
I think you told me about it.
Movies.
I watched it yesterday and it was good. I really, what you told me about. I mean,
I
was really impressed with it. I know because I know you guys recommended it.
YouTube. Are you aware?
I watched it yesterday
because of copyright.
By who? I didn't know.
It's,
when? Just yesterday?
Yeah,
was yesterday maybe when I was
late
at night.
Yeah,
okay.
Whoa. It's really sad because
well, it reached close to about 6 to 10 million. 10 million. What I was wondering when he said you were younger mentioned, I just said, okay, let me at least just be able to binge watch it, and I did. So, and I see close to 10 million people.
Yes, less than 4 days.
Okay, came out over the weekend.
Yes.
Are you serious?
She actually even our goal was to reach at least at most 5 million.
Are you serious?
Watches like in total, not even like in
collection. She exceeded it more than.
It's gone. So that's also
copyright
some of the things we need to talk about when we're talking about creating content. Especially now that YouTube has given you this platform.
To just showcase it.
Platform. To be honest, I think YouTube is one of the best things that's happened.
Of course,
to anybody. Most of the creators that I know, their lives changed. The likes of some of the biggest. Tayo, I know. Horty, the Gen Z, like
most guys, who leverage that platform. Mr. Beast, okay, that Beast. A guy on the street in US over there, yes.
But their lives changed, Tayo, I know, got his first house, his first car. It's literally balling now just by YouTube. But then again, we need to just talk about some of the
content
things to just be careful about, because it could just change everything. Just that little. You need to really be careful with copyright
issues.
Sound.
Very important.
Even if it's 10 seconds, 20 seconds, those are the issues. Because it's just sometimes I think of YouTube that wow, this platform just
how it has gone.
How is it free? But it's a great platform that is doing a lot of things.
You can't roll it out.
You can't roll it out, of course.
So it has been taken out now. That's quite unfortunate.
So I'm just going to follow up to see
whether it will be uploaded again or something.
What happens next, because
of course it's content issues, infringement and copyright. So copyright issues would have been the issue as a result of that.
Because now you're thinking, if it's removed and it's removed forever.
Forever? Okay, can it be done forever like that?
What could you do again?
I feel like maybe just to be able to resolve, and see what the space and so what's going to happen.
It means we have to, the views have to.
We have to start counting again.
Yes, of course.
Oh my God! Is that what it's done?
We'll just see how that goes. But let's still focus on the Business Day newspaper this morning. It says more discos risk take over liquidity crisis. Now, what does this actually mean for Nigerians?
A lot of people have been complaining about them anyway. The discos, the distribution companies, their concern over the years have actually been that customers are not paying. I'm sure. And the customers, on the other hand, are saying that we cannot pay for darkness. I mean, it has actually been a back and forth between the willing buyers and the willing seller arrangement, the buyers and the sellers of these particular services. And then what has actually been the case is that a lot of them have actually been able to suffer from liquidity crisis to be able to meet up with their demands, So with the way it is now, we know that about 2 of them have been taken over, remember. I think the one in Enugu and the Benin have been taken over.
Okay.
CBN took over some at the time. And then there are concerns right now that others may be able to follow suit. There are mentions here that a lot of them, I think most of those are actually be able to mention here from the case of Kaduna, likely maybe taken over, and the Abuja because of liquidity issues. So NERC, for example, you'll be able to read that particular story. The regulatory body revealed that the discos, they billed customers a total of 238 billion in December 2024. That's the total. But out of the 238 billion, they could only recover 170 billion. So what happens to the rest? That's liquidity issues that are going to suffer. The rest now, and they have obligations to meet to the banks.
Right.
Once they don't be able to meet the obligations to the banks are actually at liberty. They have the latitude to be able to take over and seize their assets. And then that could risk another challenge. And that's why takeovers is always coming in. And so that's December alone. If you look at subsequent months, if you look at the data, the fact sheet from NERC, you see that most of the bills that they send out there, they receive, in fact, there was a month they received just a fractional part. I think there was a month, that was in August, for that fact sheet, where they said 170 billion was sent out. All of them, all the 11, supposed to collect. And they could only raise less than 50 billion. I mean, in terms of what customers pay. So remember, so they believe they render the services, and the customers are not paying for it. But at the same time, the customers still believe that they cannot pay for darkness. Some have actually been able to switch away from the grid. Some will believe that I don't need to be able to use this. So the issue about, because I don't have a meter, people are piling up. You had what happened in Ikeja last week, Ikeja Electricity, right? That went to the Nigerian Naval Air Force, that went to the IKEDC to beat up some of their staff, to vandalize their properties. And you know how much they said the Nigerian Navy holds 86 billion naira. 68 billion naira. That's what they hold. Can you able to imagine knowing that amount?
Where would you even start from?
I don't know. How they were able to get it out? I don't know. Was it 16 billion? Was it 16 or 86 billion? Was what they said?
Not even million.
Not million. Was it? So only God knows. When was the last time they paid? That's the question. So the Nigerian Naval Office in Ikeja, was it like they have not paid in like forever?
Since it started.
I don't know, because that's a question we'll be able to ask ourselves.
Billion.
Or is it because of the banding system that changed all those?
Honestly,
it's really outrageous.
It's really posing a serious problem, because just like was written here, it says that their inability to
make the
accurately measure and collect revenues
the services.
Some of the biggest problems that they have, because millions of customers remain on estimated
billions, and that's what is causing that.
This also says something that we need to. The discos really need, I don't know how they're going to do it, but many people need to get on the prepaid,
of course,
prepaid
meters. I mean, on not on estimated billions. That will
change a lot, because
a whole lot, not just a lot.
For the most part of my life, I remember how paying electricity bills has always been a challenge for Nigerians, because those days will come to people's gates to come and ask for money, and the reason, and people hardly pay. You see how
because they will feel like there was no light.
Yes, people used to want to rent
there was no power.
An apartment, and they had like, we need to see
backlogs
because then you will see the bill. I remember then, even when I say this, I remember then always like looking at, when I was younger, looking at the bills, I'm like, this is a lot of money.
I will be able to pay this.
Who is going to pay
that's all they accumulated.
And then you just pay like a little amount.
And so and the next one is coming in next month, and it added up
the corruption in that sector. Do you know why? Because most of the time those people come, and then you tip them a little bit or something, and then they go.
And remember, it's not reflecting on the meter. It's not reflecting on the bill. You just say, okay, please, let me just give you 5,000 so that you go.
And that will bring a lot to them, because, again, I also understand that.
It's not my business.
I also understand
to get the money.
They
That's
don't
what they feel.
Pay them properly. They owe salary. So it's just a
whole lot of multifaceted challenges.
Really, this story is really important, because.
So I kind of agree. I kind of agree with 2 points you mentioned. One is prepaid metering. You know, the massive metering of Nigerians will go a long way in at least reducing, checkmating this liquidity. They have actually been a very, very big challenge. But we know that every year they kept, if you look at any house report, when they release a fact on a quarterly basis, there's always this challenge about, we are not getting enough. I'm talking about the discos. As I said, there are just 11 of them. Customers are not paying. There's case of energy theft. People are bypassing this. Metering, of course, that's another thing, from another angle. And then the second time he said this, they too need to be able to do something about their infrastructure to ensure that this data are available. When you make it available, because people too will feel like, just like I said, you cannot pay for darkness. You're not giving me a service and you're bringing this bill. So when you will be able to have the meter there, maybe it will be to be able to help the second court to ensure that you provide the services. You only be able to get this when you provide the services, then you definitely be able to get the value from the people.
Oh, we have to move from that story. I mean, we'll just have to keep seeing, keep an eye to see how that entire thing pans out, because really, this story is truly important, because really they're at the brink of liquidity at this point.
It's a crisis.
Look at you talking about 16 billion, and that's just one.
That's one customer.
Out of several
millions of households. I expected to be able to.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
So when the report came out, that was what they were holding. A lot of people were like, seriously. Anyone that has to go and say, let us just. Maybe they're just even looking at that. Where will I start from? In paying this one? You understand?
This story, let's take a look at the next story on page 30. It says how Nigeria can achieve 7% GDP growth with higher oil output. I think for us, that's
said that they want to do. Let's see what they're going to do.
Cash cow, if
oil has been
anyway. It has always been.
But if they do the 2.03 million barrels that we targeted, maybe we should be able to, because to achieve the target, remember what the president said in 2023. If you want to grow Nigeria's economy to how much? $1 trillion economy by 2030.
Yeah.
And the only way we can achieve that is to ensure that there is a GDP growth rate of 7%, at least 7% on an annual basis. So if we don't grow at that rate, we cannot achieve that. So oil will play a very pivotal role, as well as other sectors too will definitely be able to play an important role in that stead.
All right, let's see what we have on the Guardian paper this morning. The Guardian paper is not always irregular, so let's see what we have this morning. The big story says, federal government may scale down concrete road projects over 73% spike in cost. And this continues on page 6. Then we have an ad from OPE. Then it says, reps want new ATM charges suspended. Pornographic website ban. We'll talk about that on the social listening segment. Okay. Now on page 29, it says, Edo government accuses PDP leaders of sponsoring insecurity. And then moving on, it says, Fubara, amid impeachment threat, Tinubu charges Niger Delta leaders on peace and rule of law. Continues on page 6. Reps direct Nigerian army to release report on Okuama killing. Okay. And then page 3, it says Nigeria's oil production drops as country earns 3 billion in February. Then they spoke talking about the diphtheria outbreak. It's very important to speak on now. Lagos has begun mass vaccination at King's College Annex. So for everyone who, I think this is just for everyone who's watching, go get your vaccination. Diphtheria there's an outbreak, so please, as much as possible, get your vaccination. I understand that some people don't like vaccinations. I really don't know why that is, but
no, it's a common trend now. COVID was a classic case. But a lot of them will still be able to refer to that. I didn't take anything, and here I am fit.
Truly, really, because
we have anti-vaxxers. That will always be.
The human body.
All of us cannot be able to face in one direction.
But as much as possible, if we need to take this thing, let's take it. Of course. Let's talk about this big stories very quickly. Just let me hear your thoughts in 1 minute.
Okay.
Federal government may scale down concrete road project over 73% spike in cost.
So the fact there is, remember, concrete road is where the Ministry of Works have actually mentioned over the past 2 years. David Umahi in his ministry has said we need to move away from bitumen roads to concrete roads, which is actually what they've been building, what they've actually advocated.
So which of the roads are the bitumen roads?
Oh, of course. Those ones are the ones they'll be able to put paint in black. Okay. We'll be able to, the usual one, the common ones that we see are the common trend. But now, the Lagos Calabar, for example, is supposed to be a concrete road. If you've been to Ajah to Lekki Ekpe Road, that road too is now a concrete road.
Oh, really?
Yes, from Ajah to Ekpe, sorry, Lekki Ajah, that's what they call it anyway. So if you look at that axis.
Road? How about Lagos Ibadan Expressway? What's that?
Oh, that's also concrete road, because they use some part as concrete, then some part is also bitumen made. But so that was what he has said he wanted to be able to do, because he used that in while he was in Ebonyi State. So, but now to do a lot of concrete, you need a lot of cement. To do a lot of that, more cement will be used in constructing concrete roads, and we all know the price of the bag of cement now. So because of the spike in costs, that has significantly impacted the ability of government to be able to meet the obligation. And I'm sure our readers go into that, they will see a lot of details that the analyst, the Guardian, have actually done in analyzing how those concrete roads have actually suffered very, very significant risk because of the 73% spike in cost. So the building materials have increased. The bitumen road are the asphalt road. Thank you very much. They call them asphalt. The ones that you see with the black asphalt roads. So it's the opposite of this concrete road. So that is where they are going. They are going towards concrete road, away from asphalt. But yes, initially concrete road are very expensive, but they have longer lifespan compared to, because unlike asphalt road, you need to be able to maintain them every 2 or 3 years. But this one can be able to use 10, 12 years without that.
Without maintenance. So the Third Mainland Bridge is what?
Oh no, it's asphalt. You see that? That was what was done.
That's the
asphalt.
Opposite?
The opposite of this concrete.
Okay, so that's why it's always getting maintained.
Perhaps that's why it was done. So asphalt was the target. Asphalt was the strategy in those days. You know, it was just now that engineers are coming up with, okay, concrete roads are better. Road made with concrete, so which is maybe more of cement. I'm sure the engineers will be able to mention more about that. So they call them concrete roads. So when you look at most of the roads that the government has commissioned during the PBAT administration, they've been majorly focused on use of concrete rather than asphalt.
And very quickly, we're going to go now.
Okay.
We will have to go now. I like how the garden paper actually just did this little bit of infographic, which I think is interesting. Very easy. It talks about, they just basically highlighting how like the difference. So it said maintenance cost for concrete are nearly zero.
Okay.
No
that's maintenance cost. No maintenance. That's one thing advantage of it.
Maintenance means less interruptions to the business.
To the business. Okay.
That's one advantage. It says recycle. Concrete can contain recycled materials such as fly ash, slag, or recycled concrete aggregate. So at least
it has that recycling.
Temperature. Concrete's lighter color also results in a lower temperature for the parking area during the summer, reducing the heat island effect and lowering cooling cost for adjacent buildings. It also speaks on fuel. It said concrete pavement can reduce fuel consumption by 3.17%, resulting in significant cost savings and reduction in CO2 emissions, which is good for the environment. Then also color. Concrete surfaces are much lighter colored, meaning that lighting costs can be reduced. You can eliminate 3 of 10 light fixtures and still have the same level of lighting.
So these are the advantages. Thank you very much for shedding light on that. Of what concrete road can really do.
That's right. Our time is up. Let's see what we have on the cartoon of the day this morning on the newspaper review. The Business Day newspaper always has very interesting cartoon. Right there, as you can see, on the cartoon, it has a picture of the
the president. The president himself,
that's the president,
Senate president, and possibly the vice president.
So they have binoculars, is it? Are those binoculars?
Of course, it's binoculars.
So
what they are watching there is the year 2027.
Okay.
Look at what he said.
So it says it's getting closer.
It's getting closer, guys. Just one annual budget away.
Then they are in the boat. They are in a boat.
Of course.
And the boat is a democracy boat.
Okay.
Yes, so they're in
Sailing
the boat. So
where?
what does this mean?
Okay.
They're in a democracy boat and they're looking at 2027 ahead with binoculars, and they're saying it's getting closer. Just one annual budget away. What does that mean?
Okay, so quickly. So one, remember 2027 is the next election. The first term of this administration will be over. And we're likely going to be able to have another election by 2027. So now I think what is actually telling us now is a lot of politicking have begun, right? Politicking here and there have started, and we've seen how politicians have been aligning, have been readjusting, and have been actually able to put their houses together. So you see that here, just talking about maybe just sample of politicians, selected politicians, who are all high in 2027 and strategizing in place, putting things in place. So I told you about Kebbi State Governor, was not last week. In fact, even though INEC has not blown the whistle yet on campaigns, the Kebbi Governor was actually going out to say, there will be no vacancy in Kebbi State, as well as none in Aso Rock. The same thing happened, was it not in Delta State?
Right.
One of the so you've seen campaigns, even though it has not started officially, we know it's going to start by next year. So what they're now saying here is we have one more budget to go, maybe to tell themselves, which is 2026 budget. After that 2026 budget, we know that, of course, the one that will be able to come will be able to include the preparation for 2027 election. And INEC will definitely tell us the dates. Hopefully by February next year, we should get it.
What does this democracy boat even refer to?
It's not looking like it's sinking.
Because the boats, because you can't even see the DE side, but we know that it's a democracy.
But so democracy is sinking, and they are in 2027. So maybe that's another thing. Maybe instead of actually thinking of salvaging this, strengthening the democracy. What politicians are really looking at is 2027. I mean, and that's what pictures tells 1,000 stories that one can really be able to bring up. Pictures tells 1,000 stories. So it can be able to be that direction you look at. Because look at the way I didn't even look at it in that direction. That okay, look at this sinking, and then that could be another direction to say democracy is sinking. And politicians are thinking of
the next term,
2027. You saw what Senator Natasha did yesterday. She has to go to the United Nations, Interparliamentary Union, to go and be able to make a case.
I have my reservations about that. We'll probably take that off.
Maybe tomorrow. Behind the scenes.
It's quite interesting. It's like, wow, it's gotten to this? Like,
because in fact, she mentioned herself that yes, I am here illegally.
That because of obviously they've stripped
Because
her
in
of
fact,
all
the
of these
case
things.
the case is in court here.
She's not officially a
So-
senator and all of that, so she had to take that.
She was
we'll have to
quite
take this
emotional
off.
and teary about it
Yeah.
anyway. I mean, we'll talk about that just like
We'll
you
have
said.
to take it off camera. Thank you very much,
thank
Mr.
you very
Mohammed.
much for
Always a
having
delight
me.
speaking
It's,
with you.
my
And this
pleasure
has
here too.
been the newspaper review on the VDTV breakfast show this morning. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Keep watching.